Hello, hello. JJ DiGeronimo here. Thank you so much for seeking alongside us. I love all the energy practitioners, healers, mystics that join us here to talk about their journey and how it has come to fruition. As many of you know, I'm working on the 6 steps of personal awakening, and much of the information has come through many of these interviews. As many of us have crossroads, we have situations either at work or at home that put us in a state where we're like, what is going on? Why is this happening to me? Where do I go from here? And I'm thrilled to bring Kathy Harmon-Luber here today because she is going to talk not only about her fabulous book, but she is also going to share her work with sound and vibration. So Kathy, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, JJ. I'm so happy to be here. Looking forward to the conversation.
Oh, this is one of my favorite topics is vibration. So before we get into how to raise your vibration, can we talk a little bit about what you think vibration is and how people may experience it?
Yeah, I love that question. That's so good. Yeah, so the way I think about this is first, some geeky science. We are all energy beings, right? Like everything in the universe is energy. And so if we are all energy beings and everything in the universe is vibrating, including rocks and trees and nature and people and pets and all of that, whether we know it or not, we are transmitting a vibration in our everyday. And it comes through our thoughts, through our actions, through our words. And like right now in the collective, the vibration is so heavy. You know, we say a high frequency or vibration or a low frequency vibration. The high frequency vibrations are things like love and gratitude and hope and caring and compassion and uh, being one with the divine, a feeling of spaciousness and freedom within. And the negative vibrations are things like, obviously, negative thoughts and hate, but even more than that, if we are not in the frequency of love, we are in a lower vibration. And so I feel like part of our goal on this planet is really to raise our vibration, and in doing that, that it's about paying attention every day to where we are on that spectrum, high or low, and being aware of that. And so often, if we are out there in the collective and we are not attuned to this, we're picking up negative vibrations of the collective. And even for those of us who are very sensitive, who are highly empathic, who are on this spiritual path, we can get pulled into that. Like, just think about walking into a room where an argument has happened. We sense that. That's a lower vibration, right? And so just going out into the world, to some degree, we're all picking that up. And that's why sound, and I'm so excited that we're talking about this, because sound can help us to balance and raise our frequency. Yeah.
So beautiful. It feels already like a lullaby already, to be honest with
Oh,
you. And we're going to talk about how
yeah.
it works and how sound plays into it. But I feel like some people come to me and we'll talk about vibration and they're like, well, I'm high vibe, but then I go to work and I have a situation or I get in a
Oh,
conversation. So do you think it's a minute by minute thing, vibration, or how do
yeah.
people like move through their day? Because people encounter so many different situations, whether that's, they're in the conversation or they just
Yeah.
feel the conversation.
Yeah, that happens to every one of us. And like, I try to live in a high vibration place, and then something happens and you're in at work. Obviously, that can happen at work. It can happen in our families. It can happen anywhere out there in the world. It is minute by minute. And look, this is how we make change in our lives, in anything that we do. Everything is incremental. And so by grounding a frequency before we even go out into the world, that gets us in a really good place, right? But we have to anchor and integrate that into everything that we do. And how do we do that? Awareness. I mean, awareness is number one. Just like, how am I feeling right now? Why am I feeling this intense, fear or anger or whatever the emotion happens to be, frustration? Where is that coming from? Is that coming from me? Is it coming from someone else? Is it coming from the room I just walked into? And so, yeah, I definitely believe that it's a minute by minute thing. And by bringing awareness, this is where mindfulness meditation is so great for us, because we don't just do it when we're on the cushion, right? It's not just when we're in meditation. It's not just when we're walking out in nature. It's taking whatever that feeling is, that connection with the divine or our higher selves, our soul, and bringing that into every moment of our day as best we can. And we're all humans, and that is a really hard thing to do. But that is where I have found over the years I've made the greatest change in my life, in my, call it my frequency. It is bringing it from whatever I'm practicing, whether it's sound healing, whether it's meditation, whether it's walks in nature, bringing that back into my day, bringing it into the work meeting, staying grounded in ourselves and saying, how can I come from a place of love and not fear? I love Pema Chodron. I quote her a lot in my book. She says very wisely, and this is from long lines of, wise people the world over, all religions and indigenous cultures. There are two things in the world, love and fear. And if you're not operating from those higher emotions of love, unconditional love, compassion, hope, care, you're in that fear place, you're not in the love place. And that is bringing attention to that, JJ, I found has been transformational. Yeah.
Mm. It's so beautiful. And I feel like sound is such an easy
Mhm.
on-ramp
Yeah,
to really
it
getting
is.
back in the body. So tell me a little
It
bit
is.
about how sound raises your vibration.
Yeah, I love this question. First, because we are energy beings, right? Our bodies are also composed of a very high content of water. It's like between 60 to 65%, depending on the day and a number of factors. But if water transmits sound vibrations more efficiently, effectively, quicker than air, even. And that's how we hear sound, right? And so our bodies are like these antennas that pick up the frequencies of sound. And there's some great, exciting, poetic science behind this out of UCLA, a guy by the name of Dr. James Jimzewski. He has found that all of the cells in our body sing. And that sound that they emit, like brain cells, one sound, one frequency, heart cells, a different frequency. The sound that they emit sends light signals to other cells to keep them in balance, to keep our whole bodies in balance. And when they're not in balance, they stop singing. And the interesting thing about this is the future of medicine. The very sound frequency that they emit is what revives them when they're sick. So think of this not only in terms of healing a brain. This is the new brain science, by the way, that's coming out of Rutgers and UCLA and other universities across the country and around the world, actually. But not just transmitting it that way, but think of it less in terms of disease, although that is a primary thing, but also just think of our energy centers, our chakras. Every chakra is aligned to a frequency. We can stimulate those frequencies, open that column of energy so it's not blocked or constricted. When we are in a position where we are well balanced, we are a beautiful channel for our spirituality. Like if we have a lot of blockages in our heart chakra, in our throat chakra, third eye, crown especially, although the lower chakras I would say are just as important, it it's very hard to be in a place of connecting with the divine, with our soul, our higher selves, if we're out of balance. Sound balances the chakras. It connects us to the divine, our soul, our higher power. And all through the ages, for thousands and thousands of years, actually, from India, China, all of the Americas, the Celtic lands, the Pacific Islands, and everywhere, sound was a vital part of communities' healing. And not only healing the body, healing the emotions, healing the soul, helping us on our soul's journey. People think of sound healing as this new age thing. It's not, it's very ancient. And we look back to those ancient cultures and say, how did they use sound to help them on their spiritual paths? And that is the way so many of us in sound healing today are using sound. Yeah.
I love my sound baths. I love them.
Yeah.
And is there a certain amount of time you have to be part of a sound bath for it to be effective?
Boy, that is such a great question. Okay, so sound scientists talk about how we come into entrainment, which is a fancy word for being in alignment with the sound, where our brain waves, our cells, all the systems of our body come into that frequency. Like, you know, if you go into if the musicians among us know this, if one string player plucks a string, all the other violins and instruments vibrate. That's us. We are like a little orchestra of sound ourselves. We are these almost like tuning forks, if you will. But the point of it is, you come into entrainment in like 4 to 5 minutes. That's what science has shown. So if you're going to engage in some of the sound things we'll talk about, you want to be doing it for at least 4 to 5 minutes. Obviously, the longer, the better. If you can do 20 minutes to an hour, your body will go into a deep state of relaxation to the point where your brain waves change from our alpha and beta state into the theta state. The theta state is where we are when we're meditating in a deep meditation. It's where we are when we're in the creative flow, let's say, right? You know, that zone where you lose track of time and you feel connected and one with the universe. That's the theta state. It's a beautiful place, and it takes time to get there. So I would say anywhere between 20 to 50 or 60 minutes is the sweet spot, really. Yeah.
And that's super helpful for people that are just trying to figure out like how long do I have to go and which one should I
Yeah.
go to? And what about the megahertz? I always hear like this megahertz or this megahertz. Like,
Yeah.
do you pay attention much to that?
Absolutely. Okay, so here's where it gets really fun and exciting in sound, and why it's helpful to work with a sound healer, whether they're giving a sound bath or like me, one-on-one sessions, because the hertz relate. Okay, remember I was talking about how all the cells in the body emit a sound. So maybe the brain cells are a certain hertz. Hertz is simply a unit of measure, how we measure sound. And so every note on a piano, let's say, has its own hertz value. The chakras vibrate at a certain hertz. The organs vibrate at a certain hertz. The bones, the fascia, they all operate at a certain hertz. And so as sound healers, if we choose instruments that are compatible and in alignment, and let's say somebody is out of alignment in their heart, or just pick any organ or place that you want, we match up instruments and their hertz frequency to bring that particular organ into alignment, into resonance with the sound. And again, activating those cells that might have gone dormant or are dying off, right? And so it's very, very important. And, you know, a lot of times you can go to a sound bath and you'll get all the hertz, and that's beautiful. The gong is one of my favorite instruments because it has the lowest of low and highest of high notes, even beyond the human ear. It touches and activates every cell in the body, which is like the perfect healing. Even if you can do 10 minutes of a gong bath. I happen to have a gong, so I often only do 10 minutes or so. You feel just this invigoration of your energy and a deep grounding presence. And that's the other thing, we don't want to forget grounding. Grounding is so hugely important, especially as I was saying with where everything is in the world today. We need to remember to ground. We can't be in our upper chakras. We want to be in our third eye, in our crown chakra, and just, off in meditation land or with our intuition or whatever. But we can't be there optimally unless we are very, very well grounded in the lower chakras. So when you go to a sound bath, you typically get all of the frequencies that will balance all of those chakras. Yeah.
So I definitely want to talk, I want to end on, what are some of the easy ways people can integrate sound into their day. But before we do, I'd love to talk about your practice and how people can find you and what is the work that you do.
Oh, wonderful. I love that. Well, I do a number of things. I am a Reiki master. I'm a sound healer. I combine those things. The sound healing that I do, JJ, is one-on-one with people. I certainly have done sound baths for larger groups, and I was just on a summit over the weekend for hormone health healing and did a sound bath targeted to that. But one of my favorite things to do is one-on-one, because a person can say, look, I'm having massive stress and anxiety, and that's one kind of sound bath. If a person is having a surgery and they want to be able to integrate, if it's a new body part, if a new restructuring of their body, that's a different kind of sound energy that we bring to that. So I love the working one-on-one with people. It can be totally transformational. And I find when we work on the body's issues, we grow on our spiritual path. And that's what my book about the healing journey is all about. It's called Suffering to Thriving. It's about my own journey, but it's also about the work that I do in realizing that our healing journey is embedded in our life's journey, which is embedded in our soul's journey. And often the healing journey is the portal to a deeper soul's journey. I thought I was on my perfect soul's journey, had been doing spiritual work for 30 or more years, thought I was there until a massive spinal rupture happened in my back that left me bedridden for so many years, completely flat on my back, bedridden. And everything I had learned had to be put into practice in that moment. And it took my spiritual growth to a so much more deep level. So when we can view our healing journey as part of our soul's journey and say, what can I learn from this? That's where the real magic happens. That's a portal. So that's basically the work that I do. And I also just help people one-on-one with what I call healing navigation, navigating your soul's journey through deeply difficult, challenging healing journeys.
Wow, so powerful. And I do believe that our crossroads are often our ability to create space for the work that we're supposed to be doing with the gifts
Oh,
that we
yeah.
have.
Yeah, for sure. That is absolutely what it was for me and so many of my clients. It disrupts our life in such a fundamental way. And when I say healing journey, it doesn't only have to be physical. It could be the mental health journey, the emotional journey, the journey from trauma, job loss, divorce, loss of a loved one. Those are all healing journeys. And everyone encounters them at some point or another on their path.
They sure
Yeah.
do. They sure do. More than we like to admit. So,
Yeah, for sure.
so can people work with you online?
Absolutely. I love working online with people. And, the technology is such now that with good headphones, the sound experience is so powerful. It is like being there in a room with someone. So yeah, I love working. I have people all over the world actually that I work with. Yeah.
Mm. Well, hopefully those that are listening will Reach out to Kathy. All of her websites, her Instagram, her YouTube, where she has beautiful sound, is below. All the links are below. So, Kathy, as people are listening to this and they're rounding out their day, what are some effective ways they can start to integrate sound into their days?
Yeah, there are a couple easy, inexpensive ways to do this, JJ. One of the things that we so um, it's usually just not even on our radar screen as a sound healing is humming and singing. Many of us have things about our voice. Oh, I'm not a good singer or anything like that. But it doesn't matter how good a singer or hummer you are. Humming stimulates the vagus nerve, which starts right here in our ears, wanders through the body, regulates everything we do not think about in terms of heart rate, digestion, all the things. So it's very good from a health standpoint, but think of all of the indigenous cultures for thousands of years that have used chanting, mantra, humming, singing to help them on their spiritual paths. Drumming is spectacular. I am a drummer, but you don't have to have a drum. If you have a pot or a pan, if you've got your drum, I see it beautifully. If you have a pot or a pan, if you have a book, if you have a desk, tap on your chest. It's a little bit like EFT tapping, but tapping, stimulating, simulating the heartbeat of our mother when we're in the womb, right? It brings us down. It helps entrain those brain waves and can take us into deep journeys. Other things, if you have wind chimes, if you have a Tibetan bowl, if you have, you can use anything for sound, the sounds of nature. And the exciting part of this is so many of the sound healing instruments, you do not have to be a musician. I happen to be, but that is not what makes me a good sound healer. Anybody can do this, and anybody can be a musician with something like a Native American flute. There are no wrong notes. Use it as meditation. I have been using Native American flute for over 30 years. It started not as sound healing, as my form of meditation every morning or every evening. They make tuning forks. Tuning forks are hugely powerful for healing the body, restructuring bones, helping the heart, bringing the brain into entrainment. But there are also tuning forks for the pineal gland that open the third eye and help us access intuition. There are tuning forks for the crown chakra that help us open our channel to oneness and the divine, God, goddess, source, creator, whatever you want to call it. So that is something that is so easy. You tap a tuning fork and hold it to your body in the appropriate part. You tap it again and you're done. That's it. It's powerful. You don't want to do it any more than that. They're relatively inexpensive, under, I'd say $50 to $100. You can get a very excellent one. And in a few seconds, you can bring your intention, which I haven't mentioned, but intention is at the root of all of this. It's like anything that we do on our spiritual path. Intention is the most important thing, setting the intention to heal, to connect, to send peace to the world. Having that intention and using any of these tools, excuse me, frog in my throat, they're all very, very, very helpful. And on my website, sufferingtothriving.com, I have an article that I did for Yoga Magazine that has quite a number more of these tools that people can use. So I encourage every one of our listeners to check that out.
That is fabulous. And I really, first of all, your voice is just so soothing. I feel so relaxed after talking with you and learning about vibration, sound healing, intention, grounding, so many amazing topics. And I love the fact that people can do it right from their desk, right from their bed, right from their coffee area. And I feel like for many of us, just really finding the time to align, however that happens for you. And then doing sessions with you, if you're called to work with Kathy, her links are below. You can schedule a virtual session from wherever you are in the world, or pick up her book, which I just love your title of your book, Suffering to Thriving, your toolkit to navigate your healing journey. So I just love that. So, Kathy, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for being part of the Together We Seek community. And I look forward to working with you here and other places too.
Beautiful. Thank you, JJ.
Thank you
Blessings.
so much. Thank you so much. And for everybody listening, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you'll reach out to Kathy, share your experiences, and continue to check out our fabulous practitioners here at Together We Seek. Signing off.